Hey, are you like me? Do you like to make sawdust? Well, how do you manage it? It gets everywhere. It's on the floor. It's in the air. In this video, we'll take a look at a couple of things that I have done to help manage dust and dust collection. Stay tuned. So, hello and welcome to the Lost Pines Workshop. I'm JC Jensen. So, we're going to take a look at some dust management practices, I'll say, that I use here in my shop, which is considered relatively small in comparison to a production place, right? But you'll see I've got a joiner over there, I've got a planer there, and a CNC machine, and of course table saw and various and sundry others. Um, so I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of a tour and show you what I've got or how I've set up my dust collection to help manage the mess that I create daily. So we'll start off with the primary vacuum, right? Vacuum is kind of the key to, or an easy way, other than using a broom, um, to draw all the sawdust into a collection point from which we can transport it out. Floor space is a premium. Um, I've got my dust collector now. So this is I'll call this a mid-size unit, right? It's not just your typical box door um, vacuum cleaner. It's a dedicated dust collector with an input filter here. It's in the shop right now. I'm considering, have been for quite some time, of building out on the back of my shop here so I can put this unit outside, A, not to listen to it, but B, free up some floor space. We'll see where that goes in the future, but for now it's sitting over here. It's part of my shop layout. Being over here in the corner is kind of the best place for it. As part of that, and then from that, I built out, and I did a lot of research on, for the duct work, what size to make it, as far as diameter goes, and what materials. Well, a couple of things we have to consider in that is the size. So the input for this dust collector, it has a 6-inch port. It came from the store with an add-on that split into 2 4s. Well, I'm running more than just 2 machines, and I don't want to connect and reconnect every time I want to use it. I just want to turn it on and make sawdust. That's what I do, right? So using the 6-inch input, I stayed with a 6-inch pipe for the primary runs that I established. Once it gets to a particular machine, say the joiner or the planer, and even my chop saw over here, I maintain that 6-inch trunk line until I get to the machine itself or close proximity to it. Then it reduces down to a 4-inch, which is what the joiner and the planer readily accept. Material, I chose to go with galvanized duct, which I bought at a box store. It's just snapped together, poop, push it together. Why? Cost was the primary thing. Having worked in other facilities with lots of these machines and the spiral duct that's really put together well, that is like wicked expensive. I got a quote to do what I've done here, and it was going to be like $6,000 to run the ductwork. I'm sorry, that's not happening in here. Production shop, sure, but I'm not. And if you're watching my video, chances are you're not either, right? You're a small guy like me. So that's what I got. But why did I go with galvanized? PVC pipe is easier to assemble, easier to run, but I chose to stay with metal primarily because of static electricity. I'll do another video on potential fires and explosions you can have with sawdust. That'll come later. But static is a concern for that reason. Using the galvanized pipe attached to my dust collector that is plugged in with ground, I don't have to worry about static buildup. With PVC pipe, you can get static buildup in that, and if it's not properly grounded, can cause you problems. I don't want no problems, so I stayed with metal, and it's natural, you know, as it's all connected, grounds itself quite readily. It's not so static's not an issue. All right, and then before we branch off into that, or get into the branches, I've also here at this location, I have blast gates. All right, so here at the unit right over here in the corner, I have one duct that runs up and along the wall on this side, which services my bandsaw as well as my chop saw. I have another duct here, this guy, which runs all the way over and is dedicated to my jointer because it makes a tremendous amount of dust really fast. And then there's a pipe here in the back, I think you can see. It's another trunk line that runs over and services my table saw and my planer. So there's 3 blast gates here, depending on which main line I am working from, and I can manipulate those. Now, here's one that a lot of people forget about. You still end up with dust on the floor, right? Well, you can sweep it up, you can bend over, put it in a dustpan, throw it in a bucket, take it out, whatever you want to do. Well, I cheated, and I incorporated one more blast gate and a trunk line that goes to the floor. Oh, you can't see. Let's fix that. I have a floor sweep. So all I have to do when I sweep the floor, turn on the dust collector and sweep it in. It's gone. Right? Makes it easy. Me bending over and getting down on the floor, that ain't cool. All right, so there's that. Let's flip you around this way. Well, let's go this way first. All right, so chop saw. 6-inch trunk line runs along the wall, comes down all the way down to the floor, and similar to the floor sweep that I have over there, I have one located down at the bottom inside of my chop saw area. So as I cut sawdust and that is running, most of the sawdust is contained and it gets sucked in gravity, drops it to the bottom, and then it gets sucked in. Over here, this way, there we go. Here's the branch for the bandsaw. 6-inch trunk to this point, blast gate. If I'm using the chop saw, I close it, takes care of all of that. If I'm using the bandsaw, I pop it open, and then I get a draw off of here. This isn't working 100%. I've got some work to do on the machine itself to improve it, but you get the point. All right, if I spin you around this direction, here, you can see I've got the 6-inch trunk line coming down. It runs up through the rafters and then drops down at a midpoint between my planer and my table saw, and there's a blast gate for each of those. I simply open and close whichever one of these for whichever machine I'm using. And then, like I said, we have this trunk line. It's 6 inches all the way down to almost the floor, where it reduces down to the 4-inch line that goes into the bottom of the joiner. Easy, right? Lastly, I've got my CNC machine over here. As you can see, it has its own. It has its own dedicated little shop vac. Sits on here and plugs in there. I don't use that a whole lot, but it does work. And yes, I do have the floor shop vac, as well as an old vacuum cleaner from the house. The shop vac I use on my router table and on our sander that we have. We've got 2 sanding machines over there, and I've got it adapted so it will plug into either machine. Works really well. I also use it to help clean up around my lathe. Okay, so that's it as far as my shop vac, my dust collection goes. But what about the air? All right, that takes care of what the machines are producing. That takes care of the bulk of it, but we still get the fine particles that are floating around in the air and end up on everything. Well, for that, I highly recommend, I'll just do this. I highly recommend air filter. All right. This is located, obviously, it's hanging from the rafters as it's designed, and I've kind of got it in an out of the way place. But the way that this works, right, is it's directional. Air goes in one way, it comes out the other. By locating it close to a corner and having it elevated as such, when this is on high, the air, it's drawing the air in a circular motion. All right, it's rotating it around. I say it's rotating the air and collects the fine particulate dust in the filter itself. Once it's full, which is regularly, I take it outside and I clean it off and I put it back in. And then when it gets too bad, I just replace it. All right, that's an electrostatic filter, so it really clings to that sawdust. That's going to help protect my lungs, right? Still, if I'm sanding, and depending on the wood species, I'll still wear a mask. State of California, you should always wear a mask because everything causes cancer, right? So there you go. 2 methods or 2 systems that I employ to help manage dust. Now, the last thing is good old-fashioned elbow grease and hard work. About once a year, I will put all my stuff away. I'll sweep the floor really well, clean off any surface dust that I can at the ground level. And then I open up all the doors, put on a respirator and break out the air compressor with an air hose. And I start at the top up in the rafters, and I just blow it all out, get it out. And once I do that once a year, that's just good housekeeping. Has nothing to do with looking like a professional shop, because Kim and I are usually the only ones in here. Don't really care what it looks like for the most part. But I still want to have a clean and healthy work environment, because this is where I spend my days. I'm probably 7 days a week unless I'm out on the road. So with that, I hope this video helps. If you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments and I'll get back to you. I'm happy to share any and all information that I have gleaned over the years of woodworking and making sawdust. So go make some sawdust, have fun picking it up and cleaning it up, and we'll see you down the road.